Welcome, everyone, to the last session of our Network and Cloud Security admin course. Uh, so today's course is about the mobile device security, session 5. So hopefully we complete it today. You will have a quick quiz, and we are hoping we can certify you before you go on holidays. So let's dive into that. So Umanath is with me, and I think I'm going to do most of the speaking here. So the topics that we are going to cover today for mobile device security is really the challenges around securing mobile and bring your own device environments, and how you deploy SASE agents on these devices, and why you need a root certificate and how we deploy that. Okay. But first, a refresher, like why even we are talking about mobile device security, right? So, so what is happening, as you can see, the SASE supports remote users. Like remote users can be on their laptops, but they can be on mobile devices as well. The current situation is that, yeah, we can put endpoint protections like EDRs on the laptops and computers, but mobile devices most of the time are not protected. Like when more and more of us are now accessing our email, SharePoint, a lot of the sensitive application through our mobile devices. So network is always the way to protect these devices. And one of the thing, I mean, when I call this course as a prestigious network and cloud security admin, how network security is important. Like any other security control you put in, the bad guys can stop that. Like if they hacked into your device, they can stop your EDR, but they cannot turn off the network because they also need network to reach to your device, like to have the communication to command and control back there. So network is always the fundamental, and everything has to go through the network. You cannot bypass it. Like you turn off the network, you cannot work. There's nothing available, right? So that's why now how we secure mobile devices with network security, like, and we are going to put agent on the mobile devices. In the next quarter, we will have a SASE Pro course, which will cover the modern workplace security, and you will be able to put cyber gateways in your offices and locations. In those cases, when you will be in office, you don't need to put an agent on your mobile device, like because as long as that device is going through the gateway, it will be protected. But for now, we are talking about the remote users and how we protect these remote users. As always, so these are the 7 Exium Academy documents I will be going through, and we will share these links with you, and so that everything is there for your reference, not only the recording from this session, but also all the material you can access offline at any time that is convenient for you. So let's start with the uh, first thing. Why we even need to secure mobile devices. As we were discussing, the traditional measures do not apply to mobile devices. Most of the traditional security measures that we have do not apply to the mobile devices. Like, and we need to, and since users are working remote, with the remote work, they're accessing critical applications from their mobile devices. That's why we need a way to secure these mobile devices. Again, each of these documents have a lot more things, but since this time is limited, we will not go through the details of all these type of things. So now we are going to go through two type of attacks that have been common over this year, 2024. The first one is gold pickaxe. So this is an attack where hackers are able to get into your mobile device. They can intercept your SMS. They can fake your face recognition, all the biometrics. They can steal money from your banks, and this has been a very common attack. Like you might have heard about this attack. Like, and not only like your bank accounts, but once they have access, they can intercept your emails and all those things. Like they have access to everything. If fortunately, there's a way, like with SASE, you can prevent these type of attacks, because this attack requires a communication back to the command and control center. And these centers were mostly in China and some other like Thailand and those places. But with the Axiom, you can put in a geofencing controls. We have this geofencing where you can, if your company is based in the US, or for example, any country, you can limit the countries where your users can call back to. Like, so you can block all the remaining countries. And this way, even if your device was hacked, it will not be able to communicate back to the command and control center. Over the last 4 sessions, we learned a lot of these SASE capabilities. Like, SASE has a lot of it. It consolidates like dozen of security controls. So for different things, there will be different SASE feature or capability that will help prevent different type of attacks. But this type of attack can be prevented with geofencing. Like, even though sometimes bad guys can create their command and control centers in the US, like in AWS or other places, but they generally are shut down pretty quickly because you find those, and then AWS and these guys take action and so on. So most of the time, the persistent command and control centers are like in places where you don't have much control over. Like, but you can always block communication because those destination might not be the one your user need to go to. Like, so this attack, very critical attack, but can be blocked by geofencing controls. Another tag you saw, Salt Typhoon, it goes with very different names. Like, there are many names for that. You hear a lot, like T-Mobile, AT&T, Verizon hacked, like Trump, Vance, Harris, their accounts were accessed, their browsing data, their SMS, and all that. Like, it's supposed to be like a advanced persistent threat, like from actors in China and so on. Like, and how you prevent this type of attack? So this type of attack is not happening on the device itself. Unlike a gold pickaxe, this is happening in the ISP, like, because ISP has a lot of your data, like some SMS are not encrypted, and your browsing data, all your DNS and things, they can intercept, like, and your all browsing data they are storing. That's what the bad guys are able to access, like when they hacked into AT&T, Verizon, and T-Mobile. And apparently, this was pretty easy for them. The backdoor is really one of the features of these mobile networks. Like, mobile networks, because they are telecommunication networks, they have this lawful intercept. Like, when with the court orders, with lawfully you can get data about users and so on. So telecommunication systems have built in these sophisticated lawful intercept ways where you can kind of be intercept all the traffic for a given user or a set of users. Like, I'm guessing over here, because companies like Huawei and others, they are expert in these areas. Somehow, someone somewhere is able to create a backdoor into these lawful intercept. Like, so what, for example, the data FBI or agencies might get with court orders, now they are able to access all the data. Like, so this is the way this attack is happening. Like, and then they can exfiltrate data and all those things. Like, so fix that one is also pretty easy. Like, because with Axiom, you get the full encryption, even your DNS queries are encrypted. So even you will be going through T-Mobile, AT&T, but they won't be, all the data will be useless. Like, if they store any of your data, because it's all encrypted, like with the network layer, if you, for example, in Axiom's SASE solution, we use the WireGuard as the protocol. So in this case, what is happening, as you can see, you may be a remote user or a mobile user going through mobile network or ISP. Like, so there's encryption from here to, for example, Axiom. Like, when you're going through the ISPs and mobile networks, all your data is encrypted, including your DNS queries and everything. Like, so now if the bad actor is able to hack into T-Mobile or Verizon, they cannot get access to your data, right? But now you might ask the question, what if Axiom is hacked? Because you see, we decrypt and we have that data, like what ISPs have. Like, what if Axiom is hacked? So this is then again comes to like, why SASE? Because telecommunication networks were built more for connectivity, not really for security. Like, SASE from the ground up is built as like security is built into your network. Like, that is the whole thesis about SASE. Like on the first session, we learned SASE is like a security guard that also shows you the way. Like it not only protects your traffic, it also routes your traffic. Like it does both things. Like so, SASE by itself has protections because now security is built into the network. And like for example, SASE providers as security first companies, they have stronger protections in place, but that is a legitimate question. So that's kind of put more pressure on SASE vendors like ourselves to protect ourselves also with stronger mechanisms, because we have now sensitive customer data, like you see in the dashboards and so on. So this is, but yeah, you see like how this attack happens and how you might be able to create privacy with deploying this agent on the mobile devices. So today we are going to, so the method to deploy on mobile devices, because most of the time you don't have a RMM for the mobile devices. Like, so how you may have Intune or some MDM, and we will see how we can push this agent through those. But the simplest method is you initiate as an MSP, you initiate emails for the users who need to install agent on their devices, and then user get the email, they scan a QR code. Like, and while I'm here, we are going to do this in real time as well. So I have, I think, two users. I'm going to initiate emails to Umanath and myself so that we can install on our devices here. So now I'm going to take my, I have Android SASE. You can deploy on your laptops and mobile devices. I'm going to do Android. So when I click on Android, there are two things. I get two QR codes. The first one is to download the app, and second one is to download your credentials. Like, and you scan those codes, and then you will be connected to Exium. So I'm doing that. Okay, so I just activated on my machine. So as you can see, right now I got email on my computer. I'm scanning from my phone. Like, this is a very simple method. Like, you download the app, and then you add the tunnel, basically scanning a second QR code. And later we will see you can push this app through Intune, but users will still need to add the credentials or tunnel manually, because these are user-specific tunnels that you need to add. And we got the feedback from MSPs that sometime users are out in the field, they don't have access to a computer. Like, how then you activate this agent on the mobile devices? As you can see, we also have if I click over here, this is basically going to bring me to Android store, so I can download the app from there. And similarly, I can add the QR code also with the uh, 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 yes, yeah. So from the App Store, and not the QR code, the second file that you have, like your configuration file, you can add as a file as well. So you can just be on a mobile device and still be able to activate this agent. And sometimes we also have these deployment on like Chromebooks. Like, Chromebooks also work like more like mobile devices, because you don't have RMM for Chromebooks and so on. But it's very similar. Like, then I will click on Chromebook, and in this case, as you can see, I'm not getting a QR code, because on my Chromebook it's more like a computer. Like, I'm not like scanning something, even though there are cameras you can scan. But easy is just to click on the download the agent and the configuration, and you activate on a Chromebook. So Chromebooks works very similar to the mobile devices. So this is how you deploy the agent on the endpoints. It's yeah, there is a manual step because there is no RMM for these devices, but we will go how we can do some of these automation through Intune and other ways. So we can for example, iOS and Android, we can also push through Microsoft Intune. Like if mobile devices are supporting that, it's very simple. Like you go to your Intune and add basically the WireGuard app there, and you can sync it and push to devices. It will show up like as a app on the devices. But as I said, this just install the app on the mobile devices, but the tunnel needs to be still added separately. Like, and if you go back now, we go back to our this architecture over here. You have seen for like Windows, Mac, and Linux. Our agent has a lot of other things, like it can be deployed completely silently with RMM and so on. But on mobile devices and Chromebooks, it's a standard WireGuard because with the SASE, most you just create a tunnel to the mesh, and most of your intelligence and security controls are happening in the mesh, right? In terms of security controls, you are not losing much because you can completely lock the mobile device and tunnel everything to the mesh, and mesh will, with the policies, controls you have put in place, and it is going to encrypt it when it's going through the ISPs and all that mobile networks, and policies are applied in the mesh. So for mobile devices, it's a standard WireGuard. Is basically a modern encryption tunnel. Like that's what we use for mobile devices. Okay, now let's go back to our console before we go into things. Okay, you see we were not connected, Umanath and me. I think maybe my phone went to sleep. Not sure if it got disconnected. But let me click over here. So you can see, like, yeah, it looks like, yeah, I need to, there is a way to have always on Android. There's a setting you do that. But in this case, you can see I was connected. I just got disconnected, like on my Android. And we can look at, I think, Umanath, your iOS, yeah. Umanath scanned the code from his iOS, and he's connected, as you can see. So as you can see, the deployment was pretty simple. You initiate email to the users, and you can initiate that email in bulk. Like if I have many users over here, I just went like individual emails, but I can also from over here, I think there's a maybe yeah, this will re-invite all the users. If I do that, it will send email to all the users. So you can also do that in bulk. Let's see what is if this activity should start showing up in the uh, dashboards as well. We can see if something has started coming in over here. There was no activity in this workspace before. Yeah, you can see it's already, so there are two users and remote devices. You see iOS, my Android went to sleep, but I think iOS has more activity. It's already discovering all the applications and the locations and so on. So I'm in the Dallas area, my location, and Umanath is in India. Like you can see it all your basically threat prevention, all that is already happening. Like within minutes, you can see the SASE has kicked in, and it started protecting your mobile devices. And you can put the details like on each activity. Like I think I have that Life 360 as a my family yeah, location tracking app, and you can see it already, like what category it is and so on. Like my phone maybe did an update there, all the information is captured, like everything is encrypted. But here you as a MSP, you can see this activity. Like same when users will be using business applications, like you can see if there is a something malicious happening, or we can right now, I think you can see, yeah, maybe Umanath, you tried block.block. That's our standard way of testing if Exium is active. You can see it. This got blocked over here. Like so, if there were other threats, they will show up here in the dashboards. Okay, so you can see it's a pretty straightforward scaling mobile devices. And now let's go back to some of the. So yeah, we looked at this install through Intune, and there's another thing like why we need to install a root certificate. So This is optional, but it is useful because what is happening is when a threat gets blocked on a mobile device, you want to give feedback to users like, okay, that splash page that you see on the computers, because that splash page is shown in HTTPS. For us to show that in a secure way, you need to deploy Exium Root Certificate. Like when you deploy agents on Windows, Mac, and Linux, that certificate is already included as part of that install. So you never need to separately install this certificate. But here, since on mobile devices, we don't have that script, like we are installing the app, activating the device, we also need a root certificate. So there's a standard way, and user can also install that certificate. Like the instructions over here, we have made it very easy. You can download this certificate from a link, or there's this QR code you can use, and then pretty straightforward, users can add. Like, but if you are using Intune and so on, you can also push this certificate similar to like if you're pushing app through uh, uh, Intune, you can also push this root certificate. And it is that we have a script like anytime you need to deploy Exium root certificate, not only on mobile devices or even, for example, in cases. The next quarter, we are going to learn about modern workplace security. Like when you deploy cyber gateway, you are on a site, but as I said, like you don't have agents on the endpoints. You may not need agents on the endpoints in those cases because you have the cyber gateway protecting you. But when the cyber gateway will be preventing these threats, so you still want to show this splash page, like to the users, give them feedback that this malicious website is blocked or this gambling website is blocked due to company policy and so on. So you can always push, you can take the script and you can push this certificate to the devices.